Episode 2. Preparation is key. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this episode we're going to be doing another breakfast. I promised fish tacos and I promised a lot of promises. But sometimes you have to go with what you have or what's available. And so what I have available is another kitchen. And it's my aunt's kitchen this time, not my mom's, so her sister. And what I'll be looking at doing is one of the breakfasts I always do when I'm here, because she always has all the cool organic market, farmers market things. And I'm hoping that it'll inspire you to get creative with a breakfast. And I know that I did the Japanese style egg breakfast last time. This time it's more of like kind of like a rustic organic American breakfast. But it's influenced by so many things, particularly Latin American culture in terms of food. So us Americans especially are very lucky to have a lot of these things. In particular, good onions, good avocado, good tomato, good corn. If you're an American and you eat those things, recognize the influence of other cultures on your food or the staples of your diet. So here we go. So part of this episode is preparation. I've prepared or pre-prepared everything to make the episode a little quicker, but to talk about, being prepared and having things set aside, kind of like what they do in the cooking channels, it makes it so much easier to not have a million things going on at once while you're cooking. So I have my cast iron pan. It's seasoned already. I'll talk about seasoning in a second. I have butter in there. My eggs ready to go. We got some green onions. Some people say scallions. Avocado, some nice red tomato here, straight from the vine, cut up, organic, and same here, fresh corn from the local market, wheat bread, and a little bit of cheese here to mix into that. I got some Toscano cheese, black pepper, really good. So we're gonna put this all together and make a scramble for you, right in that pan. Puffy hair today. So, we're here. We're at the pan. Like I said, I was going to talk about seasoning. Seasoning a pan is adding some sort of oil to it, olive oil, butter, some sort of fat, for example, that is based on oils, lipids. And I was thinking about, what does that mean to season it? You don't need to do this to all pans, but cast iron pans especially benefit from having already a layer of oils embedded into it. What you can do to season the pan, you put the oil around the pan. I usually use a paper towel to also move it around. And what I do with when I do that, and it's all moved around over all the entire surface, the interior of the pan, kick on the heat high. Maybe move it down to medium high after a while, and when it starts to smoke the pan, turn it off, remove it off the heat, and then give it another wipe and let it set. Especially with cast iron pans, it's going to be hot, so watch out for the handle. And that's how you season a pan. It gets those oils embedded into the pan and makes it easier for you to use the pan. I'll say pan a couple more times. Gas. Oops, wrong one. Yeah, gas surface, gas stove, my favorite. Look at that. All right, butter's melting. We're gonna kick that heat down and give it a good little start. I like to go medium high whenever I'm cooking, especially proteins or eggs. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kick over here and cook up these scallions, the tomato, and the corn all together and give it kind of a fire roasted effect. It's going to be some tasty stuff. It gives it some great color too. The color that we're looking for is the chart, actually. The colors are already there: green, red, yellow, white. All these things are going to be beautiful together. But when you put it into this pan and you give it some charring, it's going to give some extra flavor, some smokiness, and also some great color. I think it's great to cook a Southwestern style breakfast by charring some of these items. So we're going to do that. So, handful of onion. You can use green, yellow, white, whatever you'd like. Do a little handful of corn. Put that in the pan. Everything's gonna go in all at once this time. I'm gonna take my little mini cutting board. This is probably the cutest thing on the planet. So, now everything's in, one-handed. It's kind of what has to happen with this recording system I'm doing of me cooking at the same time as talking to you. That's how it is. Break up that corn. You know, like I chopped it down the cob. You know, one called down the stalk. Straight down it, and I kept it together so it'll be easy to grab. You want these things to be easy to grab, and not too hard. If you can't grab it, just use your knife and scrape it off the edge of like a table, like the edge of this table right here. You could just kind of go, right, kind of Zamboni it, so to speak. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave that alone. One hand. Back to our dish. I don't have any seasoning in here yet. My eggs I've already pre-seasoned. I used a salt and pepper, and a particular type of salt, which is interesting. Sometimes you just come across things in your kitchen. Omnivore salt here for this one. I'm going to whip those eggs in the pan, not while they are here, because I'm also going to cut down on steps and other things like that that are not necessary. Anyways, we're getting some color shooting through here because the tomatoes are bleeding through into the corn. It's looking pretty awesome. I'm going to season these and I'm going to come back. So I seasoned them just a little bit. I seasoned them with pepper. I didn't put a ton of pepper in here, but I already have salt. And I'm not going to salt much because this cheese, and a lot of cheeses, or if not all cheese, have a good amount of salt already in them. Check out the nutrition facts on there and see for yourself. They'll add a saltiness to it, especially things like Parmesan. And those things are salty. Like harder cheeses, I feel like. There's probably someone that knows way more about cheese than I do. But this is going to have plenty of salt from that pre-seasoned amount in the cheese. Fun fact while this is cooking. People say, eat your vegetables. Corn is not a vegetable. You know, it's a grain. So it sits in a different category, and I think people need to recognize that because it also has them different properties. In particular, it has a lot less nutrient value than one might think. It also has a lot of sweetness. Hey, it even makes ethanol. So it does a lot of things, but it's not a vegetable. So just heads up. I'm going to be waving this around the camera too much. It's my point maker spatula. I'm making a point. Okay, look at that. It's looking beautiful. I'm going to bring you back when it's nice and charred up. I have my toasting. That pop is popcorning. Or the corn is popcorning. And then I'll be jamming to these next items here in a second. It's the final countdown. Boom. Close up. So, it's getting that char in some spots. I want it just a little bit longer. Be patient on that. I'm going to appreciate the flavor. Otherwise, it's just going to taste like straight up, I don't know, refrigerated corn. We don't want that. Although this came straight off the cob, you know, it's not like out of the can. But we want to give some life to this. So I'm giving life. My cooking is a little bit more than maybe some people are used to. So be patient on that char, and it's going to be beautiful. We got that char on. Alright, so we're ready to start adding our protein. I upgraded egg +1. Drop these guys in, a good stir as I go, and just do what's called a rough scramble. I'm not sure if people do this. Oftentimes people will whip it in a bowl and get that scramble and make the eggs nice and fluffy, but sometimes I'm chilled. I can do the scrambling in there. That's cutting down steps, cutting down things you have to wash, and this bowl, I didn't need to use that per se. I could have just cracked the egg straight over like I've done before with a one-handed chopstick, you know. Whoa, Jesus, went all the way over there. So we're going to drop this in there because this is looking fantastic, nice and charred. And then I'm going to put my cheese in there too. I'm going to chop that in. And then, bonus episode, how to cut a goddamn avocado. English people, Jesus, Surgeon General warning stuff where you're getting your hands cut off. We're going to cut an avocado today also. So I'm going to show you that at the end. Eggs are in. Over the side. Alright, get that that rough scramble. And metal on metal is going to be good with cast iron because then you can get under that protein that might stick to your pan. You can also pull out all the corn and all that stuff out of there right before you do this, and then re-grease the pan, greasing it with whatever oil fat you want. All right, I'm gonna be popping this up. That's my toast done. Consolidate those steps. 2 things at once: cooking, recording, toasting. All right, so doing this, cutting the cheese, so to speak. You can do it with anything really. It's probably safest to do it with a blunt knife. You don't need giant sharp ass knife to do that. And drop some cheese in that. I did a light scramble when I was away. And I'm going to do another little light turnover with that cheese in there now and let that marinate in that really hot egg and egg, corn, tomato, onion mix. I'm going to turn off the heat when that happens. I don't want to overcook my eggs. We got the charredness, the onions in there, the tomato. Looks like a garbage pile right now, but I guess on the plate, you'll see. You'll see. Alright, it's time to dump this. You turn those eggs over and melted that cheese and put it directly on the plate now. I'm going to have a second to get the rest of this out of the pan. I'll need 2 hands here. Ooh, nice and steamy. Alright, eggs are on the plate. I'm going to have some cantaloupe on the side. Not all of that. Maybe some coffee too. Eggs on the plate. I'm going to cut that avocado for you. And there's ways of doing that. I'm going to show you at the end of the episode how to open it up, which I think is the majority of where people are kind of stabbing themselves. But the other part is then taking it out of here. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And you can do it with a butter knife is one of my suggested ways. Another way people do it is with a spoon. Now with the spoon, it's cool. You can get the whole thing out, but it doesn't make it look as pretty. So we're going to do the strategy with the knife, the butter knife, and I'll show you how to scoop it out of that. And at the end of the episode, I'll show you how to open up an avocado as well. So here we go. All right, perspective shot. All right, here we go. You got your avocado. It's a pretty solid one. It's already been de-seeded. Bring it in closer here. We got some contrast to the light. Sorry about the outside light. What I'm gonna do here, and bring it close so we can see that. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna cut into the avocado with my butter knife towards my hand. That's okay. If it's not serrated or sharp, you're gonna be okay by cutting towards your hand like that and using the interior skin as kind of like a stopping point on where you need to stop cutting into that avocado. So you cut a line down the middle there. You can take it all the way through, also all the way through the skin if you want. Still butter knife in hand, and it's not going to chop your hand off. So consider using a butter knife or a soft edge device. I have my avocado in 2. What I often do to get it really, really well presented is I take the skin off and I peel it off very gently off the back. When I'm peeling it off, you can pull it from both sides, you can pull it from one side. I'm just trying to show you the way I do it, which is from both sides usually. So now you have your avocado, right? What I'm going to do here is now I'm going to show you how they cut it, right, in restaurants or various other places and make that look pretty. So what we do is we just go straight down it here and cut through towards yourself here like this. Right? Don't come jabbing towards yourself, but cut towards yourself, down into it, and towards yourself. And why I say towards yourself is because if you cut and you pull up, you're going to pull the avocado up with it, and you might disrupt this nice little cut that you're doing right now. And cut down and towards yourself. Now we have this avocado where we can push down if you'd like to see how it fans out. It gets pretty sexy. If you ever run into somebody that eats avocado prolifically or loves avocado, this is sexy. I mean, this is really good looking. Like, this is sex appeal. I'm going to say sex a lot when I talk about avocado. All right, taking the avocado, and when I said this kind of looks like a dumpster fire, right, because it's kind of just a mashup of food. It's delicious, by the way. I'm going to put that avocado straight on the top. I'm going to bring you there. Place that avocado straight on the top, and it's just gorgeous now. The color contrast of that like bright green and yellow and the lime green with the plate. You can chop up some cilantro straight over the top, some hot sauce, whatever you want. But that's the dish, right? I tossed in some Toscano cheese in there. I did my corn, my green onion, my all those things, you know, the tomato, that nice seasoned salt in the mix of the eggs, and I got a meal. And again, I quote how quick this is. This did really take, if I wasn't holding this camera, this took like 3 to 5 minutes. Before I said 90 seconds for eggs. You could, if everything was already preheated. This is like, bam, dish and a half. I'm gonna throw some Tabasco sauce on it because I like heat. Cholula has a little bit like a darker contrast, and it's a little bit thicker, so that might pop over the dish a little bit differently if you are going for aesthetics. Here I'm not. I'm going for a little bit more heat, and so Tabasco is my choice on that. I'm gonna get a better picture for you here, but that's where it's at right now. Put a little toast on the side with some butter, and I'm all set. We'll see you in a second. Holy Mother of Jesus, I found cilantro. That's going in for sure. Cilantro. It's bedazzled. Got cilantro on it now, so it is complete to me. That salt again from the cheese and the salt in the egg. You can put another dash over the top. What's really cool, I feel like, that not a ton of people do, is salting and peppering your avocado. It is pretty damn delicious. Avocado is getting pretty popular. Even restaurants are dedicating their whole lives to avocado, which is fine. But salting and peppering really, you know, turns up the volume on it. So you can do that if you'd like, or if you're watching your salt, you know, don't worry about it. But pepper, man, pepper's good on it too. I have the Tabasco over it with the cilantro, so I'm set. Some people might even want to put some lime over this. You can. I'm gonna have toast and butter on the side. You gotta always show someone eating, right? That's what you're supposed to do. Is you're supposed to show that they pass the taste test, and then they go, that's so good, right? And I said there's a lot of sex appeal on avocado. I might do that, but I wanted to eat this first and let the credits roll, and eat. Then I'm gonna show you the avocado cutting, because you need to cut it. That's a really bad joke right there. I'm sorry. In the credits, you can kind of be really stupid. So I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna be merry. I'm gonna appreciate very much the access to all these kitchens I always have access to. Eating really good food, and not something that everybody has access to all the time. And so I'm really privileged to have this opportunity to even eat something like this. Damn, you know, the price tag of this meal is not cheap. Good cheese and good avocado and corn and organic tomatoes and all this stuff. Green onion, good toast, good kitchen. It's all that costs money. So it really is a privilege to eat like this. Now, if you don't have all these materials, there are ways you can still replicate this, and you don't have to use the cheese. You can cut that out if you want and get a little expensive cheese. And look at those price tags sometimes, and even for like a small wedge like this, you know, what is this one? This one's $6, right? So that's a big deal. I recognize that, and so you can cut certain things out. But this one, I call it like a Southwest style breakfast. One, because all these ingredients are Southwestern, or you know, from Central America, Mexico, and Americas in general. But Southwest in particular, because people cook corn like this very often and mix it into dishes, and I think it's delicious, especially when it's a little charred. So I appreciate you coming by. Avocados are next. Boop.